from where we stopped the last time. Okay, we are supposed to meet yesterday, but I'm so sorry we do not have the class. Okay, so we'll continue today. Yes, the last time I told you that we are going to be looking at partial variation. Let us look at some questions that many students run away from. Okay, so we just look at one or two questions for today. All right. Before we commence, I want you to invite your friends. Let them know the class have started. Okay. So, and don't forget, once you join the class, always remember to give the class a thumb, drop your comment, and if you are new in the channel, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that whenever we're on here, you will be duly notified. Okay. All right. So we are continuing with our topic, variation. So we are going to be looking at partial variation, just like I said last time. So we are looking at some questions under partial variation. So let us wait for a few seconds before we commence. Let's wait for others to join us. Okay, so let us see how many people are around now. Okay, so once you join the class, just give a thumb. Let's know you are around. You can always greet everyone. Okay, now we are going to be starting with this question. All right, okay, so this is the question. Yes, we are about starting now. So before we swing into the action, yes, if you are just joining for the first time, ensure you subscribe to this channel and don't forget to give a thumb to the class. All right, so we are looking at this question under partial variation. Okay, let's read the question together. A number P varies directly as Q and partly inversely as Q squared. Now, given that P is 12 and Q is 3 and P is 13 when Q is 6, find P when Q is 12. Now, looking at this question, I know is a partial variation question. So at the back of my mind, I know I'm going to have two equations to solve simultaneously. Okay, so now let us interpret the question. Now, the number P varies directly as Q and partly inversely as Q squared. Now look at this. P varies directly as Q, not as constant, don't forget, as Q. All right, so since it varies as q, so you introduce a constant. Let's call the constant a. Okay, and that's plus, and partly inversely as q squared. Partly inversely as q squared. So that is going to be b over q squared, where a, b are constants. Okay, so this is the first thing we need to get right. Now let's go through the question once again. Now, a number p varies directly as q. Varies directly as q, that is p equals to q. So introduce the proportionality constant, and partly inversely as q squared. Q inversely, so reciprocal of q squared. So that's what we have there. All right. Now the next thing is to get the two equations that will be solved simultaneously, so that we get the constants a and b. All right. Now let's look at the first one. Given that p is 12 when q is 3. Now let's plug in these values into this equation. So we have 12 equals to q is 3. So we have 3a plus b over, now q is 3, so we have 3 squared. So we have 3 squared. Okay, so this can simply be written as 9. All right, now let's call this equation 1. All right, now let's look at the second part. So we have, now we want to plug in the values. So we are given that p is what? 13, and q is what? 6. Now let's plug in these values into this equation. Okay, so we have 13 equals to q is now 6. Okay, that's 6a plus b over q squared. And what is our q? 6. That's going to be 6 squared. So 6 squared is the same thing as 36. Now let's write 36. 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, so we call this equation 2. Now the next thing now is to solve these equations simultaneously. All right, so how do we do this? Now I can use elimination method. Now I can decide to eliminate a. So if I want to eliminate a, so I will multiply this by 2. Let me multiply equation 1 by 2. Let's see what we have. So multiply equation 1 by 2. Now let's do that so that we have 6. We are multiplying because we have 6 here. So we want this 3 to turn to 6. So let's multiply this by 2. What do we have? We have 24 equals to, multiply this by 2. 2 times 3a, that gives you 6a. Plus, now multiply this by 2. That's going to be 2b over 9 plus 2b over 9. Okay, so now let's call this equation 3. So from here we can subtract. Now let's say we are subtracting this from this, this from this, this from this. Okay, let's see. Now 13 minus 24, that gives you minus 11. Okay, now 6a minus 6a, that gives you 0. Now we now have b over 36 minus 2b over 9. So we have b over 36 minus 2b over 9. Okay, so how do we do this? You find the LCM of the denominators. Okay, so and that is what? That is 36. So now 36 goes in 36 is 1. So 1 times b, we have b minus. Now 9 goes in 36. How many times? 4. Okay, so you multiply that with this, you have what? 8b. 4 times 2 is 8. Hope you get that. All right, so now the next thing is to cross multiply. Let's cross multiply. We have minus 11 times 36 equals to, so when you subtract this from this, you have minus 7b. So that's what we have. Okay, so now let's multiply this minus 11 and this together. What do we have? 36, 36, we have 693. We have minus 396 equals to minus 7b. Okay, so what's the next thing? We divide both sides by minus 7. So that means we have b equals to minus 396 over minus b. So now, what's going to be the value of b? Now, minus, we cancel minus. Now, 7 goes in 39. That is going to be what? That's 5. Okay, so we have 5. And you are left with what? You are left with 4. So now you put that 4 in front of 6. So you have this. Okay, now 7 goes in 46. That is what? That is 6. That is 6. Okay, so and what do we now have? That means we are left with what? 4. Okay, so we have 4 over 7. So this is the value of b. Now, the next thing is to see how do we get the value of a. So we just plug in the value of b into any of the equation, either equation 1 or equation 2 or equation 3. Okay, so which one will be better? So I would prefer this because the values here seems to be small. All right, now let's look at it. We have 12 equals to 3a plus, now we have b divided by 9. B divided by 9. So we have b. Now the value of b is this. So I will have 396 over 7 divided by 9. So can you see that now? So this, we have b divided by 9. So I just decided to write b, since b is a fraction. So I have it this way, divided by 9. So we have 9 here. All right. So now let's see what's the next thing. Okay, so yes, we'll find a way of simplifying this. So we have 12 equals to 3a plus, now how do you do this? You change this to multiplication. This is 9 over 1. So we find the reciprocal of this. So we have 396 over 7, okay, times 1 over 9. That's what we have. Okay, so now let's see how do we simplify this. We have 12 equals to 3a plus, now can we check, can 9 completely go here? Now let's reduce it little by little. Now I can see that 3 can go, 3 goes here, that's 1. 3 goes in 3, that's 1. 3 goes in 9, that is 3. Okay, and 3 goes in 6, that is 2. So 3 goes in 9 here, we have 3. Okay, so can we try if 3 will still go again? Now 3 goes here, 1. 3 goes in 13. That is going to be 6. It will remain 1. You put that 1 in front of 2. That's 12. 3 goes in 12. That is what? That is 4. 3 goes in 12 is 4. So that means we have 64. Right? So this is going to be 64 over 7. Now, what's the next thing to do? We collect the like terms. So now let's move this one to this side. So we have 12 minus 64 over 7 equals to 3a. All right. So now here we look for the LCM of the denominator, or we just multiply through by 7. So let's multiply through by 7. So you multiply this by 7, this by 7, this by 7. Okay? So now, when you multiply this by 7, what do you have? You have 84. Okay? So now multiply this by 7, you have minus 64 equals to multiply 3a by 7. What do you have? 21a. All right, so can we subtract now? I think we are left with what? 20. That is 20. Okay, so equals to 21a. All right, so now 20 equals to 21a. So you divide both sides by the coefficient of a. That is 21. So you have 20 divided by 21 equals to a. So this is the value of a, and this is the value of b, okay, or this. So now the next thing is to write the connecting formula. So let's write out the connecting formula. Don't forget, we have to find p when q is 12. So when q is 12, and let's take note of that. Q is 12. So we are going to be looking for P. All right. So now the next thing is to get the connecting formula. So I'll just write this one out, and I will change the value of A to what I have here, and the value of B to what I have here. Okay, can we do that now? So we have P equals to now Q times A. So we have 20Q over 21. You get that now? A times Q is going to give you, this is A. You multiply this by Q. So this is what you have. Next one plus, now what do you have? B divided by Q squared. So look at it now. This is B. So that's going to be 396 divided by 7Q squared. So that's what we have there. So that's what you're going to have there. Okay, since Q squared is at the denominator, so it comes down. All right, so this is the connecting formula. What we have here now is the connecting formula. Okay, now the question wants us to get the value of P when Q is 12. Find the value of P when Q is 12. All right, so we are going to do that now. But before we do that, I want you to quickly try that within a few seconds. Let's see, what do you have as P? And drop your comments, your answer in the comment section. Okay, so can we quickly try that? Find P when Q is 12. Find P when Q is 12. So we are making use of this connecting formula. Now let's quickly do that. Yes. Is there anybody with the answer? What is the value of P when Q is 12? Yes. We are waiting for you to drop your answer. So I think I have over here. I have Gola here. I can see Joseph. Yes. Abib Bello. Yes. Pamilerin. I see. Can see Olawale. All right. Okay. Yes, I can see Folashade. Riscott is here. Okay. Okay. I can also see this Folashade. Yes. All right. Is there anyone? Okay. By now we should be rounding up. Okay. I'm still waiting. All right. In the next few seconds, we are going to do that and let's see what we have. Okay. Okay. All right. So now by the time we do that, I observed that okay, it seems here supposed to be 44. Someone was calling our attention to that. Let's see what do we have. Let's see how we did the division. Now 7 goes in. Now let's look at it. 7 goes in 39. That was going to be 5. So it should be 5 because 7 times 5 is 35. So we are left with 4. Okay, so we have 4. That's we put that at the front of 6. So now 7 goes there is going to be what? That is going to be 6, right? Okay, that's 42. So that's 6. Okay, okay. We have a remainder. All right, I think what we did was we first divided by 9. Okay, we divide by 3, sorry. 3 goes here is 1. 3 goes in now 9, that is 3. Okay. And 3 goes in 6, that is 2. That's 132. So we have 3 here. Okay. So 3 goes in 3, 1. 3 goes in 9, that is 3. Okay. And 3 goes in 6, that's 2. All right. So now we have 3 here. So this 3 now goes in 13. That is going to be 4, remainder 1. Okay. I think that is where the mistake lies. So we have 1 here. So we put 1 in front of 12. In 2, that is 12. 3 goes in 12, that is 4. That is 44. Okay. All right. So that means what we are supposed to have here now should be 44. 44. Okay. Over 7. All right. So sorry for that. You can always adjust that. So that means here will be 44. This is 44. And you have 44 here. Okay. So now, so when we subtract now, so what do we have? So that's going to be 40. So we have 40. So when you take away this from this, so you have 40. Okay, so now, what do we have? We divide both sides by 21. So that means we are going to have 40 over 21. So this one's supposed to be 40 over 21. So we have 40 over 21. So that's what we have. Okay, so and this still remain. Okay, so now, okay, so sorry for that. So that means we have to do it together now. We have to do it together. So let's see the way it's going to look like. So you have to find P when Q is 12. So you plug in the values of Q into this equation. So what do we have? So here you have P equals to 40 times 12, because Q is 12 over 21 plus 396 over 7 times 12 times 12. Okay, so here 3 goes here is 7, and 3 goes here is what? Is 4. Okay, now let's look at this. Now I think 12 should completely go in this. All right, so let's see. Now let's first reduce by, okay, let's see how many 12 are you going to see in 39. So we are going to see 3. So we have 3. Okay, so it's going to remain 3. So you put that 3 in front of this 6. Okay, how many 12 goes in 36? That is what? That is 3. So we have 33. Okay, so that means this equation now turns to 40 times 4. 40 times 4, that is 160, okay, over 7 plus 33. Now this one has gone over, that's 84. That is 84, okay? So now what do we do next? We find the LCM. So what's going to be the LCM of that? So the LCM is 84. LCM is 84. Now 7 goes in 84. That is going to be 12. So you multiply this by 12. Can we do that? Let's see. 160 times 12. So we have 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 6 is 12. So we write 2. Now 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1. That is 3. So 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 6, that is 6, 1 times 1 is 1. So you have 0, 2, 9, 1. So that's 1,920. So 1,920. Okay, so that's what we have there. Plus, now 84 goes in 84, that is 1 plus 33. So we have P equals to, so now let's add these together. What do you have? You have 1,953 over 84. So this is going to be the value of P. All right, so I want to believe we are on point and everybody agree with the solution that I have here. Okay. All right, so I want to see your response. Hope we are together. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So that is how to solve this type of problem. You can see this question requires a lot of attention. So once you see questions like this, you have to give it all your attention. Okay. This is one of Neco past question. Okay. So now let's look at another question. Okay. We're going to look at another one. Okay. Here's another question. The cost of running a car is partly constant and partly varies. All right. Okay. So this is another question under partial variation. So I want to believe you are flowing with the class. So if you are just joining the class for the first time, please endeavor you subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget, if the class is interesting and impactful, ensure you give a thumb to the class, and always remember to share this video with your friends. and always invite them and let them know the class is helpful for them. Okay, so now let's look at this question. Now the cost of running a car is partly constant and partly varies as the liters of petrol used. Now 40 liters of petrol costs 11,600 and 30 liters cost 9,600. So you have to find the cost of 50 liters. Okay, so now the first thing is to find a way of representing this mathematically. So we have to represent cost of running a car with an alphabet and the liters of petrol used by an alphabet. So that's the first thing we start with. So we are starting by saying let's C represent cost of running a car, and L, let's use small letter L to represent liters of petrol used. Okay, so now let's look at it. Now the cost of running a car is partly constant. Cost C is partly constant. That means it's equals to a constant. So we can just assume that the constant is A. So let's say equals to A. Okay, and partly varies with the liters of petrol used. Now the liter is L. So this is a variable. So once we write a variable, we introduce a proportionality constant. Now let's call the second constant B. So where A, B are what? Are constants. They are constants. Now let me go through it again. Now the cost of running a car is partly constant. The cost C means equals to partly constant is equals to a constant. So we make small a to represent a constant, and is the same thing as plus in this context, and what partly varies with the liters of petrol used. So liters is what? L. So once we write a variable here, we must introduce a constant. So we have two constants, A and B. All right. So now let us now look at it. Now 40 liters of petrol cost 11,600. I told you whenever you are solving partial variation, you are going to have two equations to solve simultaneously. So that means I'm expecting to have two equations here. Okay. So the cost is 11,600 equals to A plus, now the liters. How many liters? We have 40 liters. B. So we call this equation 1. Now let's look at it. Also, we also told now that 30 liters cost 9,600. So we have 9,600 equals to what? A plus liters is what? 30. B. We call this one equation 2. Now, I want to believe we all get that. So now, the next thing now is to solve these two equations simultaneously. So you subtract one from the other. Now, let's subtract equation 2 from equation 1. Now, can we do that? So when you take away 9,600 from 11,600, so you'll be left with what? We left it 2,000. Okay, so that's what we have, equals to A minus A. That gives you 0. A minus A. Sorry, this A minus A. So we have 0. Now 40B minus 30B. That gives you 10B. So here you divide both sides by 10. So we have 2,000 divided by 10 equals to B. So therefore, B equals to what? 200. Okay, so now the next thing is to get the second constant, that is A. So you plug in this value into any of the equations. So now let's work with equation 2 because the values here are smaller than that of equation 1. So I will find it easy working with. Okay, so now let's plug in the values. So we have 9,600 equals to A plus 30B. So instead of writing B now, so what do we write? 200. So we have 9,600 equals to A plus, and that's going to be what? 6,000. Okay, 3 times 2 is 6. So we just add the 0 to this. So we have that. So now the next thing is to collect the like terms. So you have 9,600 minus 6,000 equals to A. So A will be what? A will be 3,600. Okay. So now we have the two constants, A and B. Now we can get the connecting formula. So just come here, write everything here, change the value of A to what we have here, change the value of B to what we have here. And that gives us the connecting formula. So we have C equals to A, that is 3,600 plus now LB. What is B? 200. 200 L. So don't write LB. L 200. So you cannot write it as L200 this way because it will not make sense for me to say I have oranges 200. So numbers should come first. So you have 200 oranges. So the same thing should also apply here. So you have 200 L. Okay, so now this is the connecting formula. So I want to be sure we are all on the same page. Do we all get the explanation before we move further to the next thing? Okay. Yes, do we all understand that? Are we on the same page? Okay. So the connecting formula has been given, right? So I need a response from you. All, do we all understand? Okay, okay. Yes, I can see Gabriel is called Sheung. Okay, okay. All right, now, so now let us now move down to the question. Now, the question asks us to find the cost of 50 liters. The cost of 50 liters. Cost of 50 liters. So that means when L is what? When L is 50. When L is 50 liters. So what is going to be the cost? So let's plug in the value of L into this equation. So we have C equals to 3,600 plus 200 times 50. Okay, so that is going to give you 3,600 plus 10,000. So that is what is going to give you. Okay, so then you add this and this together, we have. Now, since we are talking about money and it's in Naira, so you have this, that's 13,600. 00 kobo. So this is going to be the cost of 50 liters. So you are going to do one for me now. I want you to get the cost of give me the cost of 13 liters. So find the cost of 13 liters. Okay, so I want you to do this and drop your answer in the comment section. What is going to be the cost of 13 liters? Making use of this connecting formula. Okay, can we quickly do that and drop the answer in the comment section. I want to believe we are very smart enough to do that in a very short time. Let's do that. Okay, what is going to be the cost of 13,000? The cost of 13 liters. The cost of 13 liters. Okay, I think I can see Adiomi. All right, Adiomi, you are welcome. Mojisola Adiomi. Okay, that's 6,200. This cost, I can see 6,200. Yes, Abi. Temitope, yes, I can see Folashade, yes. Bello, okay. Inshinwa, okay. So I can see Gabriel Lawale, and yes, okay. I can see Bolawan as well, okay. Good. Pamela have dropped an answer. Yes. All right. Okay. Yes, David, I can see your answer. Who else is dropping? Who else is dropping? So Omolara is just greeting us. What's your results? Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. So I think we have all tried, and let's see. Let's see if our answer is correct. So let's do it together now. Okay. So this is the connecting formula, and the liters has been given to be 13. So what is going to be the result? Let's plug in the value of liter into this equation. So we have C equals to 3,600 plus 200 times 13. Okay, so now this is going to give you 3,600 plus. Now, when you multiply this by this, you have 2600. Okay, so that's what you have. Okay. Now, we add 2,600 and 3,600. What do you have? 6,200. So that's what you have. And don't forget, we are talking about costs. So you must put units. If you don't put units, that means your answer is correct. It's wrong, rather. So, and you must also remember to put the kobo. It must be 0.00. So whenever you are writing value of money, always remember to put the kobo, right, or cent. So it depends on the currency that you're writing. So this is going to be the correct answer. So if you got the answer, if your answer is correct, so I want you to put your hands together for yourself if it is correct. Okay, so but we all tried. I can see our result. We all tried. So let us put it together for ourselves. Okay, now there is a particular question I want to solve. Now we did it the last time, but some students said that they want me to solve it again, and the question is somehow technical. So I'm going to solve that problem now. So we are going to do it together. So let's see. If P varies varies jointly as Q and the square of R. Find the percentage change in P if Q is increased by 20% and R is increased by 50%. Okay, this is the question. All right. I solved it the last, I think, 2 videos back. I solved this problem, but some good number of learners said they want me to explain it again. So we are going through it again. And let's see how to solve this problem. So before I solve the problem, if you are just joining the class for the first time, ensure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to give a thumb to the class if you find this class interesting. Okay. All right, let's look at the problem. Now, if P varies jointly as Q and the square of R, find the percentage change in P if Q is increased by 20% and R is increased by 50%. So now, there's something I'm going to explain before we solve the problem. Now, if I say you are giving, let's assume you are giving 100 naira, take for instance, or let's say 1,000 naira. So if I give you 1,000 naira, if I say I've increased the amount with you, this amount, I'm increasing it by 50%. If I'm increasing this by 50%, now what this one means is 150 over 100 times 1,000 naira. I'm increasing this 1,000 naira by 50%. You know, 50% of 1,000 naira is 500 naira. So that means we are adding 500 naira to what? To 1,000 naira. Okay. So if I'm increasing this by 50%, so this is the way I'm going to write it. So it's going to be 150 over 1,000 over 100 times 1,000. Okay, and that's going to give me 1,500 naira because this we actually cancel this. So when you multiply together, you have 1,500 naira, and that is going to be the idea we're going to be using here. Okay, so now let's start. Now P varies jointly as Q and the square of R. This is the square of R. Okay. Now the question wants us to calculate the percentage change in P. All right. When Q is increased by 20% and R is increased by 50%. Okay. So now, so that means we have a new P. P have been increased, so we are going to have a new P. All right. So how do we write that? Now, but before we do that, now let's write this. You know, P will now be KQR squared, where K is what? A constant. So for this, and let's move down to this. Now, here, Q has been increased by 20%. So our new Q, let's call new Q by let's call it Q1. It has been increased by 20%. So that means we have 120 over 100 Q. Just like the example I gave earlier, 1,000 naira has been increased by 50%. So that means it's going to be 150 over 100 times 1,000 naira. But the same thing we are also applying here. So since Q has been increased by 20%, so that means the new Q we'll be having now is going to be 120. So we just add 20 to 100. So 120 divided by 100 times Q. And that is the same thing. If you simplify this one, 0 cancels 0. So we have 2 goes here is going to be 6 over 5. That's going to be 6 over 5 Q. So that means the new Q is going to be 6 over 5 Q. That's going to be the value. Now let's look at the second one. Now, and R is increased by 50%. Okay, so what is it going to be? R1 will be what? So I want you to tell me, drop that in the comment section. What's going to be the answer to R1 if R is increased by 50%? See the way I did this one now. Okay, so I want you to do this for me. What's going to be the new value of R? What's going to be 50% increase in R? So how is it going to look like? Drop that in the comment section. Let me see. What do we have? So I want us to do it together this time around. So don't let me be the only person that will be doing that. Yes. So now the simplified version of R1. So what's going to be the simplified version of R1? R1. Okay, I can see Golan with a result. That's 9 over 4R squared. Okay, so I have another one. Result is 150 over 100. Another person. Okay. Yes, is there another one? Another answer. So Olawale 150. Yes, result. Yes, I can see your answer. 9 over 4R squared. 9 over 4R squared. So how did you get that? How did you get R squared? Okay. So now let's look at it together. Yes, I can see. Okay. Yes. Nahila. Okay, I can see Nahila. 9 over 4R squared. Oh, let's see what we are supposed to have and compare. Now, see. Now, R1 is what? 150 because it has been increased by 50. So it will be 150 over 100 R. So, and that is going to give you now 0 cancels 0. Now 5 goes here is 3. 5 goes here is what? 2. So we have 3 over 2 R. So that's going to be 3 over 2 R. So this is what you are expected to get. Okay. So now, but if you look at the question says that it's talking about square of R. So we now get an expression for R1 square. So now R1 square will be what now? R1 square will be the square of this. So that's going to be 3 over 2 R square. And that gives you 9 over 4 R squared. Hope you understand that. Okay. So then we can now get expression for our P, new P, the change in P. Change in P, the new P, when Q has been increased by 20% and R. So we have P1 equals to K Q R, okay, Q1 R1 square. So this is what we're going to have. Okay, so there will be, since there's a change in Q and there's change in R, so there must also be a change in P. So now we have P1 equals to K. Now what is Q1? Q1 is 6/5Q, right, times what is R1 squared? R1 squared is 9/4R squared. Okay, so this can be written as P1 equals to, what do you have here? We have K, let's multiply the numbers together. So we have 6/5 times 9/4 times KQR squared. And don't forget, KQR squared is the same thing as your P here. Okay, so let's plug in this into this equation. So we have P1 equals to, yes. So now let's try and reduce this. 2 goes here is 2, 2 goes here is 3, right? What is 3 times 9? That's 27. 27 over 5 times 2, that's 10. And this is the same thing as what? P. We just plug in P. Okay, so we need to express this side in percentage because we want to know the percentage change in P. So we multiply the numerator of this and denominator of this by what? By 10. So we have P1 equals to 270 over 100 P. It's still the same thing as what we have here. Okay, you can see the change now. If they are equal, it's going to be 100 over 100 P. So this time around now, this 100 here has increased by what? By 170. So that is 100, 270 minus 100. That gives you 170. So therefore, the change, the percentage change is equals to 170%. So this is going to be the answer to the problem. I want to believe you all understand that now. So the percentage change, because the increment here is 170, and that is going to be the change. So and we have 170%. Okay, I want to believe you all understand that. Okay, so that is the answer to the problem. For those of you that want me to re-explain, so I want to believe you have gotten this. So we are going to be stopping here today. So I want to believe we all learn here today. So if you are just joining this class for the first time, ensure you subscribe. Click on the like button before you leave. All right. So we are going to be having another time here tomorrow. Okay. So don't forget, invite somebody, invite your mate. Just tell your mate about this class. Let them come and learn. We need good numbers of learners on this platform. So thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.